important thing is to create, I don't know, there might be other words in other languages, a platform or a space for people from these different disciplines, sectors to connect. We need that communication, and we need to do it often. So in our Arts Engage program, we meet monthly.
This is the issue that I work on, and which is really close to my heart. So I'm a social scientist. I work on issues related to climate change, water, and environmental policy processes. I've been doing a lot of field work in South Asia, and this is from my field site. So in the last 10 years, repeatedly, I've seen these sites in different contexts. Women walking long ways to get water, carrying pots of water, and these are young women, dropping out of school, not making it to school, and spending most of their days fetching water. Increasingly, and this happened just in May, I have seen that pots have replaced plastic bottles. And that was a bizarre sight for me. In rural areas where I had seen women carrying clay pots or mud pots, they're carrying plastic bottles now. Which says a lot in terms of how badly plastic is being used and how pervasive the entire problem is. But I find these issues interrelated to a host of other issues, which is privatization of water itself, and when we place value on water and what kind of values we place on water, and we displace the cultural and social values which are attached to water, and increasingly it's all about monetizing water services. So here you have the rural areas, and it shows so this is like a river, and here the water is being monetized. And then there is the other end. These were buildings, don't look like buildings. The urban landscapes, where people actually, they have enough water, there is abundance, there's a problem of abundance here. You have water, you have money, therefore you have water, and you're wasting it in swimming pools, in resorts, in things which are far less important than what is happening here, where you need water. So I just said, I didn't have space to provide water everywhere, not a drop to drink. The problem is not of scarcity, it's the way we are governing water and the values that we are placing on water and prioritizing.
No, that was so interesting. Anyone else? Oh, good. I feel so, this is like a very hierarchical structure. I'm sorry, it's like I am not the authority.
Need a laser pointer.
You get the room you get.
So this is kind of it's talking to a tension that I'm.
Which one is it? I'm sorry.
It's right here.
Oh.
You can't see it that well because I did it in my pen. But it's the tension between wanting big transformation, but also how context matters. And you know, so this is coming out of some experience with Extinction Rebellion right now that's having some really negative impacts on years of relationship building in the environmental movement between First Nations and settler environmentalists. So what I've done is put settler up here, kind of futuristic writing with, you know, things that are identified with a transition, you know, electric cars and windmills and these kinds of things, technology. And then First People down here. So I come from Canada, Turtle Island. And this is coming out of work that I've been doing with Mi'kmaq and African Nova Scotian artists. And they've created a collective called Mi'kmaqi 2030, which is looking at 2030 but from a Mi'kmaq perspective. And a lot of what the focus of this collective is on the 7 leaders from all the different parts of Mi'kmaqi that are going to come together and go and speak to Glooskap, who is this kind of origin figure, because we're at the end of days and we need to reset. And I also brought this in. This was mentioned by a couple other folks in this conference, Two-Eyed Seeing, which was coined by Elder Albert Marshall, which is the idea that we can all see with 2 eyes. We can all navigate the divides, but we need to train ourselves. We need to develop the relationships. We need to develop the accountability. So this takes work, right? And it's only that kind of work that there's kind of underneath the water here, there are little stepping stones across the river, but over here there's rocks. And on one side you have climate action, which is, you know, what XR is saying a lot. And on this side, it's climate justice, which is what a lot of my Mi'kmaq colleagues, especially, but also African Associations, are talking about. If we don't have a transition that actually sees the people that have paid the biggest price for our current world having a bit better life, then it's just going to be the same thing all over again. So that's what I tried to.
About the divide. So, okay, who's next? Oh, good.
En español.
¿Este es mi dibujo? So this is my drawing. Quise salir para continuar lo de mi amigo ahí.
I want to do a follow-up regarding your drawing.
Lo que él estaba planteando
You were
es a nivel
talking
como
about-
más de grupal, ¿no?
You were
De
doing
la
it in a
transición.
more group level, the transition part, right?
Cuando yo pensé en el ejercicio, pensé en mí.
When I was thinking about the exercise, I was thinking about me.
Que el desafío mayor que tengo en este momento
The main
es mi
challenge.
propia transición.
The main challenge that I'm facing is my very own transition,
La transición de pasar
my very own
de un
transition
estado a otro,
from one state to the other,
de estar estresado, agobiado con un empleo, con un
from being
horario,
stressed and overwhelmed with your job and government,
y poder, el desafío de tomar una decisión
El challenge
causa un estrés en las
of
personas.
having to
Y es
make
cada
a
vez más
decision
común
stresses a person, and that's every day more common
a nivel personal.
at a personal level.
¿Cómo puedo abordar ese desafío?
So how can I approach the challenge
De tomar una decisión de ir retirándose de un
making-
sistema y entrando en otro,
making the
¿no?
decision of retreating yourself from a system and getting into a different one?
Y ahí está el tiempo.
And that's where time comes in.
Cada vez tenemos menos tiempo
So
para
We have less and
pensar,
less time
reflexionar,
to
tomar
think
una buena
and
decisión.
reflect about it and make a decision.
Esa es la tensión que yo quise poner ahí, porque finalmente
That's
todos
the
queremos
tension I
llegar
wanted to
aquí,
show because we all want to get here.
pero tenemos que seguir en este sistema.
But we
Hay
still
que,
have
como
to
nos decía
adhere
ayer
to a
Ronald, parar la
system.
olla, se dice acá en
Here in Chile,
tener
we
dinero
literally
para vivir.
we literally call it to stand the pot, which means make ends meet.
¿Eh?
That's the way we say it in Chile. So we have to consider that we have to make ends meet in that decision making also.
I love that.
This is right. I just was trying to express the illusion of separation.
Oh, that's
So yeah, we think we are separate from nature, and we're separate from each other, and we're separate from ourselves. So, and that's an illusion. So we all live in the same living being. So, and yeah, I totally agree. How can we transform anything if we don't understand that we are some sort of nature having a human experience?
Oh, I love that. We are a
So
spiritual
that's
creature having a
Yes.
And it's funny, I do read a lot of quantum physics, even though I have no math or physics talent, because I love the metaphors. You want to explain?
No, I just want
And they're finding out that we really are all connected. We tend to think of that as just a spiritual Buddhist thing, but we are really, all of us are on a level, we really are connected at heart.
As you said that, I just want to ask a question because the very first slide, the quantum.
Yeah.
Is that a science, in a science kind of sense, or is just like Deepak Chopra's focus?
I can't understand.
No, the very first slide.
Yeah, trying to go back to it. He's asking if this first slide,
This picture.
the picture is two particles. They're first time they photographed how these particles are connected through this quantum entanglement. I know it sounds very big, but the idea is just that they are connected through their
Because
relationship.
Deepak Chopra actually used that and then put that together, Deepak Chopra. So use that kind of science and
Abuse it?
I think
Yeah.
you use that. No. I think it's a science, right?
Yeah, this is science,
Yeah.
and it's getting down to a very micro level. I just like it as a metaphor, and that's what her book is about, is trying to look at leadership as transformational. That it's not, again, about the authority and the strategic plans and the perfect org chart and people working separately. It's about building these more complex and sometimes uncertain, that's a word we've heard a lot here, but more meaningful, more rich, more able to solve problems. So her book is not a science book, but it uses scientific principles to think about leadership in this new world. So I want to thank. So final round is maybe we could get a picture.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a picture of the class, but I don't know if I'll fit up here. Maybe. So and then you guys can, I hope, take your own pictures and share this. You've been a wonderful group.
I think one more important thing in transformation is we need to hear more, we need to be exposed more, we need to be exposed to what more we need to, this is good, this actually make these connections, but also we need to learn that how to live in a world with diversity.
I think you were, yes. I just wanted to say, I think you were speaking to what I said earlier. You know, we started with that idea of not talks, and we were talking about that last night. How spaces for dialogue where people feel comfortable, where anybody can participate, doesn't have to be expensive. This is just paper and post-it notes. It's good to work with local artists in your community if you can. We have a lot of Irish Americans where I live. These are 2 people participating. We had pizza and beer. And this was another project that surprised me. I think people are, and I heard this, I took a tour of the Conciatura winery, and they said there's a bad drought which will affect the wine. So that's a very personal thing, but climate change is going to affect that. And transformation for me is a creative, positive development that expands us and awakens us to life and makes us very present and able to make real change in ourselves and the world. I have to say my expectations were met. I just wanted to meet new people working in different fields who were thinking deeply and passionately about true change in our world. How do we change systems for the better? How do we build relationships? How do we face some of these challenges and find the strength together? So I just love that. People sharing, learning from each other, seeing how we can work together on both a local and global level. Well, even on my local level in my small community, I really want to see people working together to make positive change. And I work in the arts and culture field, so I'm interested in how I can bring my work to other sectors, such as social services, environment, and learning about their fields and their goals and how we can work together. So I just love the idea of all these people and organizations coming to discuss that kind of transformational change on a large scale and also a small scale, including the individual level.